What's up, everybody, and welcome to the channel. I will be your host in this video. My name is David, and in this video I will be doing a review on AEW Battle of the Belts, which took place on January the 8th 2022. The location was at the Bojangles Coliseum in Charlotte, North Carolina. If you haven't done so already, please press that like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new, and also share the video because it will greatly help the channel out as well. Also, before I get into this review, you can follow me on Twitter at WrestleMatrix, and you can follow me on Instagram at WrestleMatrix. So before we get into this review, and I'll keep this review to the point, short and sweet, let's just do a small talk introduction before we actually get into the review. So again, AEW, they put on a good show last night. They put on a real good show, matter of fact. The problem is, and it's the problem that's been going on with AEW for a while now, which is their officiating. The referees need to do their jobs. There's been plenty of times when Dustin Rhodes, for example, when he had his match with Sammy Guevara, he's been outside the ring for longer than 10 seconds, but for whatever odd reason, the referee was breaking his count, checking on Sammy, and just kept breaking his count. Well, if you're the referee, if Sammy inside the ring, I mean, you're supposed to count to 10, regardless of how Sammy doing in the ring. If he's inside that ring, you're supposed to count to 10. It's the same thing in the Riho versus Britt Baker match. You know, the referee, they was outside the ring wrestling for a while and setting up table spots and whatever, and the referee seems like his 10 count is like a 1,000 count. Like, you can count to 1,000, and by the time you get to 1,000, that will be around the same time that referee will get to that 10 count. And that's something that AEW really need to work on, is their referees and the officiating from the referees. They have to take control of this match. They are a source. They are the authority when it comes to a one-on-one match, a tag team match, a triple threat match, a fatal four-way match, whatever. The referee is the officiator. It's the not officiator. It's the official in that ring. So if you don't go by the rules and regulations of what the match is describing, as far as not beating the 10 count or whatnot, then you just get counted out, or you just get disqualified, depending on if the opponent grabs a weapon or not. And again, I just think the referees in AEW, they need to do a much better job at officiating their matches. That's just the honest truth. And it's been going on now for the better part, basically since AEW got that TV deal on TNT. When they first had their episode on Dynamite, these referees need to really calm down and really officiate the match. They may need to go back and watch some old WWF matches or something and see how the referees was actually doing their job. And it's no shade against AEW. It's just the honest truth. Again, if it's a singles match, or just a regular singles exhibition match where an opponent can be disqualified and you can be counted out, then you need to do that. The way you break the count is called wrestling psychology. So if you outside the ring beating up your opponent, and let's say the referee gets to the 8 count, why don't the opponent that has the upper hand, they roll in the ring and then roll back out the ring to break the count? That's how you do it. You break the count. So that way the referee has to start over again, back to 1. That's how it used to be, but I don't know. I mean, they do it in WWE, but like I said, AEW really need to work on their officiating. I mean, and honestly, outside of that, I mean, again, it was a very good show. It's just AEW need to really get their officiating under control. Like their official. I mean, Aubrey Ellis, she's pretty good, but the rest of those referees, I don't know. They need to go to referee school 101 or something. Like I said, they need to go back and watch some old WWF Monday Night Raw episodes or something. But again, outside of that, a really, really good show last night, and AEW definitely delivered. Considering it was only a 1-hour show, it was pretty good. Like I said, it was real good, and that's pretty much the end of the of the small talk introduction. So now we can get into this match because, like I said, this was only an hour long episode of Battle of the Belts. I would love to see this again. You can say it was kind of like WCW's old Clash of the Champions. It was something very similar. But we only had an hour and we only had 3 championship belts that was on the line. And let's go ahead and get into this review. So match number 1, we have Sammy Guevara versus Dustin Rhodes for the interim TNT Championship belt, and that kicked off the match, well, the show, I should say. So Dustin Rhodes, he basically shows Sammy Guevara some respect by shaking his hand. They both shook each other's hands or whatnot, and then Dustin Rhodes hits Sammy with a hip toss. Sammy hits Dustin with an arm drag. So we start off the match with some wrestling psychology, with a technically sound match going on. And anyways, Dustin hits Sammy with an uppercut. Sammy does the same thing, and he drop kicks Dustin Rhodes outside of the ring. Sammy throws Dustin to the guardrail outside of the ring, and then Dustin smashes Sammy's knee into the steel steps. Dustin also hits Sammy with a power driver outside of the ring. Both Dustin and Sammy are slugging it out inside the ring. Dustin hits Sammy with a power slam. Dustin then hits Sammy with 10 punches. You know how you have somebody on the turnbuckle and you get on the second rope and then the fan like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's pretty much what Dustin Rhodes did to Sammy. Sammy then hits Dustin Rhodes with a clothesline. Sammy hits Dustin with a double rope springboard off the top rope. The Dustin Rhodes, the outside of the ring. Dustin Rhodes then hits Sammy with a nasty crossroads. Dustin Rhodes go for the pin, but Sammy kicks out at 2.5. Dustin hits Sammy with a cold red. Sammy kicks out at about 2 3/4. It was nearly a 3 count. Dustin tries to go to the second rope, but Sammy Guevara counters it by hitting Dustin with an inverted GTS. Dustin kicks out at 2.5. Fuego, he comes out and he tried to set up a table, and Arn Anderson basically ran him off the scene, but the table was already set. Sammy hits Dustin with a pump kick while they was on the apron. Dustin then hits Sammy with a Canadian Destroyer through a table to the outside of the ring, so they both go through the table. So Sammy Guevara went through the table after being hit with the Canadian Destroyer. Dustin rolls Sammy in the ring. Sammy kicks out at 2 3/4. Dustin hits Sammy with 2 straight crossroads. Both Dustin and Sammy end up hitting each other with a double clothesline. And Sammy basically beats Dustin via a sunset flip roll pinup to get victory. So now Sammy is the interim TNT champ. Now, it was a solid match between Sammy Guevara and Dustin Rhodes. The only problem that I had was mainly outside of the officiating, because I brought that up in the small talk opener, the small talk intro. The problem that I had in this match, and it doesn't take away the match being good, but this is the problem that I had. One, some of the lack of selling in this match. I mean, you get hit with a Canadian Destroyer. If you know what that move is, you know what it is. If you don't know what that move is, then just go to YouTube and just type in Canadian Destroyer. The fact that Sammy Guevara got hit with a Canadian Destroyer and went through the table on the outside of the ring, there's no way he should have kicked out of that move. That's number one. That's the problem that I had, because a Canadian Destroyer is, you could definitely use that as a finishing move. I mean, this is what I don't get. I don't get it. You can kick out of a Canadian Destroyer going through the table, and I'm just speaking in general at this point in time, but then you willing to tell me that somebody that's like 235, 40 pounds, he can't kick out of a sunset flip roll-up pin? He can't get his shoulder a half a centimeter off the mat? And that's what I mean. That's the problem with professional wrestling today. They keep going higher with these moves, And they can kick out of all these different devastating moves, but can't kick out of a roll up. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get it. The Canadian Destroyer easily can beat somebody's finishing move. It's a devastating move. That should have been the finish. That really should have been the end of Sammy Guevara. But I understand them wanting to put the belt on Sammy Guevara. I understand that. I get that. But if that was the case, then that Canadian Destroyer spot shouldn't have been there in the first place. Just my honest opinion on it. I mean, it is what it is. And then the second part that I had was, I don't know if I look. I mean, and I give Dustin Rhodes credit. He finished the match for sure, but he looked out of shape in that match. It seems like and I know his age with him too, but still, it seems like every 3 minutes, literally every single 180 seconds, every 3 minutes, Dustin Rhodes was on one knee, gasping for breath. And I get it. He's been in wrestling for like 30 years. He's been in the business for a very long time. And he's getting up there in age. We don't know how his knees is. But at the same time, I give Dustin Rhodes all the credit in the world for still finishing off that match. But it wasn't really a problem that I had with Dustin Rhodes being tired of the match or anything like that. I mean, I just brought that up because I was going off of what I seen last night on Battle of the Belts. But again, the selling the moves can be better, and then I just think that certain spots shouldn't be there. Where you finish the match with a sunset flip roll-up pin, but your opponent kicks out of a Canadian Destroyer through a table. You guys see what I'm saying? But you know what? Beggars can't be choosers. It is what it is. And like I said, it was a real good match. And that match was 16 minutes. It started at 8:03 p.m. and it ended at 8:19 p.m. Now, after the match, Daniel Garcia, he gets into the ring and he slaps Sammy Guevara in the face. Next thing you know, Sammy Guevara picked him up and slammed him. And in the ring, slugging it out with each other on the mat, rolling around, punching each other like the old Stone Cold Steve Austin and Bret Hart. And then the referees come in the ring and they basically they break it up. And then that was the end of that segment. So like I said, AEW Battle of the Belts definitely kicked off the night in the right direction. Again, like I said, outside of the selling and of course the officiating, you know, I didn't like, but I mean overall, again, it was a good match. So you know, it is what it is. And then we get a segment backstage after we go to commercial break. We come back from commercial break, and then we get an interview, a real short interview, because remember, it's only an hour-long show, so they had to keep everything within TV time. So Tony Schiavone interviewed Sammy Guevara after the commercial break, and Sammy basically goes on to say that he doesn't care about Daniel Garcia, and that if Daniel Garcia won a match, he can get a match. I'll be a fighting champion. So basically, we can have the match for the TNT title on AEW Dynamite this coming Wednesday. So it seems as if we're gonna have a match between Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia for the TNT title this coming Wednesday on AEW Dynamite. Now we go into match number 2. And this match started at 8:28 p.m. And match number 2 is Ricky Starks, the FTW champion, versus Matt Sydal, who is the challenger. And this was a 10-minute match. So we start off the match with Ricky Starks basically taunting Sydal, and he slaps him in the face. Then Sydal hits Starks with a jumping knee. Starks counters Sydal with an inverted side slam. Starks rolled out of the ring behind Powerhouse Hobbs. Sydal tries to roll Starks into the ring, but Starks countered it with a kick to the face. Starks throws Sydal into the ring. Starks is working on the back of Sydal with forearm shots. We then go to a full commercial break. We come back from commercial break, and Starks hits Sydal with 2 clotheslines. Sydal kicks Starks a few times to the thighs. Sydal hits Starks with a hurricanrana from the top rope. Sydal hits Starks with the lightning spiral. Sydal goes for the pin, but Stark kicks out at 2.5. Stark then hits Sydal with a spear, and then he hits Sydal with a Roshambo, and Starks pins Sydal for the 1, 2, 3, and still your FTW champion, Ricky Starks. And after the match was over, Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs, they attack Sydal. So they giving him the boots in the corner. And next thing you know, Dante Martin come down the ring limping. And then he starts to run, but Ricky Starks try to meet him. But Dante Martin just clotheslines him and then roll into the ring. And then you see Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks staring each other's face, talking trash to one another. The next thing you know, Dante Martin start punching Will Hobbs in the face and then kicking him a few times in the leg. And Powerhouse Hobbs looked at him as, you serious? Come on, man. I mean, my cat kicks harder than you. So next thing you know, Powerhouse Hobbs picked him up by like the neck, picks him up. But then Dante Martin pretty much lands on his knees. And then he drop kicks Powerhouse Hobbs outside the ring. And then Powerhouse Hobbs was about to get back into the ring, but then Ricky Starks calmed him down. And then that was the end of that segment. And then, we went to commercial break. So there was a 10-minute match, and this was a good match. For what it was for 10 minutes, it was a good match. We see some nice moves, a lot of wrestling psychologies, good selling. The referee actually did a good job officiating this match. I give him that. The referee did a good job. Yeah, it was a good match between those two. I mean, Ricky Starks oozed charisma. That's just a fact. And Matt Sydal, you have to give him credit. He's good. I mean, AEW have a good talent of wrestlers. It's just, again, I mean, I'll talk about it another time on. I'll probably do like a video giving my top five things that AEW can do to become better. Just to give you my personal opinion on how AEW can be better. But again, it was a good match, which was, like I said, it was 10 minutes. It started at 8:28 p.m. and it ended at 8:38 p.m. And again, it was a good 10-minute match for the FTW Championship belt. And, I can't say anything about it. It was a good match. So then we go to commercial break. We come back from commercial break. We then get a video package of wrestlers and announcers basically saying that how Britt Baker never beat Riho. And they don't think Britt Baker can beat Riho. It's like Riho has Britt Baker's number. It's like Britt Baker, she's beating these other wrestlers, but it just seems like she can't get over the hump when it comes to Riho. So anyways, we're going to match number 3. And this is for the AEW's Women's Championship belt. Your champion, Dr. Britt Baker versus the challenger, Riho. We see, I thought it was odd at first. It wasn't really odd, but you can see a turn coming along with Jamie Hayter, because it seems like Jamie Hayter is being frustrated with Britt Baker as of late. Reba basically gives Britt Baker the title, and Jamie Hayter basically throws the belt on the ring canvas. You just say, I don't want no parts of that belt. So I would not be surprised if either Jamie Hayter turns into a heel or Britt Baker end up turning her back on Jamie Hayter. Interesting. I mean, I'll go for that. That just can be another storyline for us to have. So I won't complain about it. So we go into the match by Jamie Hayter getting Riho distracted. Baker attacks Riho from behind. Riho kicks Baker a few times, and Britt Baker basically rolls out the ring. Riho gets on the top rope and hit Reba with a flying crossbody. Hayter distracts Riho again. Mind you, they're all outside of the ring. And if you remember that small talk opening that I had where they was outside of the ring for probably 10 minutes, yeah, that's just what it was. But anyways, again, Riho hits Reba with a flying crossbody. Jamie Hayter distracts Riho again outside the ring. Baker hits Riho with a swing blade outside the ring. Hayter and Britt Baker grab a table from under the ring. Rio hits Baker with a dragon suplex outside of the ring. Basically, Britt Baker had her back turned while trying to set up the table, and after she set up the table, Rio snuck up behind Britt Baker and hit her with a dragon slam. You could basically call it like a full Nelson, like German suplex type of move. So a picture of full Nelson mixture with a German suplex. That's pretty much what that is, the dragon suplex. So Rio runs up the table and hit Jamie Hayter with a drop kick. Rio throws Baker back into the ring and hits Baker with a missile drop kick off the top rope. Baker then drives Rio face into the second turnbuckle. Baker hits Rio with 2 suplexes. Rio kicks out at 2. Baker go for the pin, but Rio kicks out at 2. Baker then gives Rio 3 knee strikes to the face. Britt Baker goes for the pin, but Rio kicks out at 2. Rio hits Baker with a Hurricanrana and then hit Baker with a knee strike to the face. Then Rio drop kicks Baker, and Baker neck lands on the second rope. Rio hits Baker with the Tiger feint kick. And if you guys don't know what the Tiger feint kick is, that's what they call that for Rio. That's basically Rey Mysterio's 619. That's basically what it is. Rey Mysterio 619. But anyways, Rio goes for the pin, but Britt Baker kicks out at 2.5. Rio put Baker in a half crab submission hold. Britt Baker makes it to the ropes. Rio goes to the top rope, but Reba grabs Baker and drags her to the apron. And Reba basically gets on top of Baker to protect Baker, but then Rio just jumps off the top rope and hit Reba with a double foot stomp. And Rio then slaps Baker. Baker counters Rio dragon suplex. And try to go for the lock job, but then Rio makes it to the ropes. And basically, I'm getting towards the end of the match now. The referee catch Reba trying to give Britt Baker the AEW's women's title, but the referee had enough of this. He was basically like, enough is enough, and ejected Reba from ringside. Baker super kicks Rio and gave Rio a curb stomp, and I'll say this after the match, but I'll continue to go on. But anyways, Britt Baker hits Rio with a curb stomp. Baker goes for the pin, but Rio kicks out at 2 3/4. After Rio kicks out, Baker hit Rio with the lockjaw, and then Rio taps out while in the lockjaw, and still, your AEW Women's Champion, Britt Baker. And then after the match, we seen a little bit of frustration, but then we seen Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, and Reba, they're in the ring hugging each other like a 3-way hug, basically. And that, my friends, is how we ended Battle of the Band. I mean, not Battle of the Bands. That sounds like a daggone reality TV show. Battle of the Bands. I mean, Battle of the Belts. That's how we end off Battle of the Belts. Might I add in this match, Britt Baker and Rio, they have very good chemistry with one another. They know each other real good in that ring, and I can't get enough of Britt Baker. She's proven that she's like, if you look at Britt Baker now versus where she was 2 years ago when she first started, she is so much better now. And congrats to Rio too, because it takes 2 to tango, and Rio, she did a real good job selling. Like when she got hit with those 2 curb stomps, it wasn't like it was 2 curb stomps straight. But I'm just saying, when Baker hit Rio with those 2 curb stomps, the way she sold those curb stomps and those slams she was taking, Rio was selling very, very good. And that just goes to show you the experience that Rio have in that ring, and the fact that she does wrestle with, I think, with Stardom wrestling too, like New Japan too. So, you know, like I said, it was a good match between Britt Baker and Rio, and that match started at 8:46 p.m. and it basically ended at like 8:59. So we got like a 13-minute match for the women's title. Now, again, would I have liked to see the match be maybe 20 minutes? Yeah, and I think the match could have went 20 minutes, honestly. But at the same time, last night at Battle of the Belts wasn't the time for it to be 20 minutes because, again, it was only a 1-hour show. So overall, I'll give Battle of the Belts 2. I'll give that like a B. it was a very good show last night. We had real good matches. We didn't have any matches under 10 minutes or like under like 5 minutes and things like that. You know, the wrestling was good. The selling was good. I mean, like I said, overall, I think the officiating could have been better. But again, overall, it was a good show last night. And I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to take place this coming Wednesday on AEW Dynamite to see what's going to end up happening. So that was pretty much the end of the show. And again, very, very solid show. I can't say enough about the show. It was just a solid show. I'm looking forward to seeing that Sammy Guevara versus Daniel Garcia match, because Daniel Garcia he's like a relentless assassin out there now. Like, he's good. And AEW wrestlers starting to step their game up, and that's what I like to see. Hopefully, you know, AEW, now that they're on TBS, that their ratings can now go from, you know, the low millions, you know, to the 1.3s, the 1.2s, and the 1.4s, and, you know, because AEW is good, and I think their ratings should be higher than what we see. But you have a lot of people that's fanboys, and they stick to one brand, and that's it. Even though they hear good things about AEW, they'll say, man, I'm not watching AEW, I'm not watching AEW. And vice versa. You hear some say, well, I'm not watching WWE, I'm not watching WWE. It's like, watch both. But I would say, out of both shows, hands down, AEW better. Their pay-per-views feel like pay-per-views. WWE pay-per-views feel like basically glorified, slightly glorified Monday Night Raws. I mean, the pay-per-views are not as good as AEW pay-per-views. Just my personal opinion. And I may make a video comparing AEW pay-per-views versus WWE pay-per-views, and just make a video about what WWE can do to make their pay-per-views better than what we see. But again, Vince McMahon is stubborn, and that's the problem with WWE. Vince McMahon is the problem. So, but anyways, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to end off this video. Again, you can follow me on social media. I'm on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter at WrestleMatrix. You can follow me on Instagram at WrestleMatrix. And again, please press that subscribe button if you are new to the channel, and leave a like on the channel too, because it helps the channel out a lot. So eventually, in due time, I will start doing live stream videos. I'm just waiting to get my subscribers up a little bit more, and I'm waiting to set up my room as far as setting up the camera and get everything set up. I have to move some things around before I can decide to start doing that. But I'll start doing live stream videos soon, so that way you all won't be seeing, you know, this audio format type podcast type format. You know what I mean? So with that being said, guys, again, stay positive. Enjoy the rest of your day. Whatever plans you have for the day, knock those plans out. Be productive. Be a better person than you was yesterday. With that being said, I'll catch you guys on the next video, which will probably be the Monday Night Raw review, since Monday Night Raw comes on tomorrow. So I'll make sure that I have my Diet Mountain Dew or something, or some caffeine on hand, because 3 hours of Monday Night Raw is like, man, it's like 6 hours. It's like you're staying up for 6 hours. So, but anyways, I'll catch you guys on the next video. And with that being said, enjoy the rest of your day. Kick the day's butt. And I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.